Another important concept when you're working with traumatized children is the concept of co-regulation. And basically, co-regulation is being kind of an extra brain, an extra calming center for that child. So you're bringing in support, and the way you're bringing that in sometimes is just with your own state of regulation. So if a child is upset and you can come in a calm state yourself, that immediately has some effect on that child. Also, if the child is upset and you come in upset, again, that also has an effect on that child. And I think we all know, have had an experience where maybe we've been with a friend or a family member who's been really down, really depressed. You can notice if you've spent an hour or two with that person, you start to feel somewhat down and depressed yourself. So children are even more impacted by that emotional piece that you're bringing to them than an adult is. So when a child is having a difficult time, it's extremely important that you, the co-regulator, stay regulated and stay calm so that you can help bring that child down. This is a little graph that shows what often happens between parents and children when there's kind of opposition to rules. And again, we have that emotional scale on the left with calm at the bottom and terror at the top. And what you can see is when the parent is on the bottom, the parent's the red line, the child is on the top, the purple line. If a child refuses to do something, oftentimes the parent gets dysregulated when a child refuses to do something. They get mad, they get upset, they're worried maybe. And so then they come back with sometimes a louder voice and a more demanding voice. You do this right now. For a child who has not had trauma, sometimes that works well. But for a child who has had trauma, that may not work well. And so what happens is the parent gets that demanding tone of voice and the child gets more upset themselves. And the child still is not obeying the original request. So then the parent yells. Again, increasing the voice, increasing the emotional negativity that the parent is feeling, and then the child becomes more upset. Often at that point, a parent might threaten a child, like if you don't do this right now, you're going to, whatever, lose your screen for the rest of the week. And then the child, again, still not, they're in fear now, they're still not obeying because in part they're getting upset emotionally, they're getting mad maybe, afraid, their opposition is increasing, and then sometimes you can even get to the point where a parent will lose control and hit the child. Mm-hmm. That's obviously not where you want to go. The child still, when the parent's hitting the child, has still not obeyed, mm-hmm. and the parent has done something to harm the child, and the child is learning also that when you're angry it's okay to hit. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to do this. This is not a good model of how to co-regulate. Here's a suggested model of co-regulation. We start out at the same point where the child refuses a request, and then instead of the parent moving into a demanding loud voice, what we ask the parent to do is calm themselves down, do whatever they need to do so that they can be peaceful as they can possibly be. Maybe take some deep breaths, lower their voice instead of raise it, slow their words down, and then instead of demanding, the parent can validate the emotion the child is feeling. So if I've said it's time to do your homework and the child says, no, I'm not going to do my homework, the parent can say, you really don't want to do your homework. And then the child feels heard, and that being heard sometimes can really bring that child to a point of a little more calm, and the parent continues to listen, and the child might say, yeah, I hate my homework, it's so hard, school sucks, I just hate school, and the parent, again, low voice, soft voice, slow words. Yeah, school seems like it's really hard for you. And so that process can go on until the child gets calm enough to make a plan. And so when the child is calm and they can think, they can use that prefrontal cortex and be able to make good decisions. The child is calm and they can think, they can use that prefrontal cortex and be able to make good decisions, then the child and the parent can come together and say, okay, homework is really hard, you really don't like it, school seems really hard, how can we make this, work, because you do need to get your homework done too. So, and then they can plan and have a solution. So at the end of this co-regulation experiment, we have a calmer child and we have the potential for actually getting the task completed.